Hello fashion lovers, welcome to the channel. If you are new here, I want to say thank you for stopping by. On this channel, I make tutorials on fashion DIYs from dressmaking, bag making and fashion accessories. So please hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell to get updates anytime I upload a new video. Today's video is about making this beautiful fascinator hat. So without further ado, let's get started. So these are the materials I'm going to be needing to make this beautiful fascinator cap you can see on the screen. So I have my already made bishop cap. So I got this bishop cap in my local market here in Nigeria. So you can get bishop cap from people that sell fascinator and hat making material. So this is what it looks like. It comes in different colors. So I have my pair of scissors, my B6000 gum, my big hand needle and thread. I have my ribbon for my finishing. I have my Alice band, my hot glue, this beautiful Ankara fabric, and lastly I have this for my interface. So this is color stay. You can see how thick it is. So this is color stay. So this is not up to half yard. You can get more depending on how wide you want your fascinator brim to be. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this into two. I'm just going to fold this interface into two, and I'll be cutting out my brim. So I'll be using this to cut out the shape of my brim. So this is the size of the brim I want. So just get anything that has a round shape like this, depending on the size of fascinator or the size of the brim, depending on how wide you want your brim. So I'm going to be using this to trace out the shape of my brim. So after marking this out, I'll go ahead and cut this out, but I'll be leaving about ½ inch sewing allowance all around the circle. So as you can see, I'm not cutting exactly on the circle. So after cutting this, I'm going to bring my Ankara fabric. So this is the wrong side of my Ankara fabric. If you notice, this interface has two parts. You can see this shiny part and this other part that is not shiny. So I'm going to place this shiny part on the wrong side of my Ankara fabric. I'm just going to place it on my Ankara fabric. I'm going to take this to my ironing table and give this a very good press. So I'm going ahead to iron my interface on my Ankara fabric. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this out. So after ironing and trimming out, you can see how beautiful this is looking already. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick just one of these. And I'm going to get my bishop cap. So I'm just going to look for the center of this brim. And I'm going to place my bishop cap on the center of this brim. So I'm just making sure this is centralized. So after making sure this is centralized, I'll go ahead and use my bishop cap to make a circle on my brim. So after making this circle with my bishop cap, I'm going to be making another smaller circle inside this circle. So I'm just going to place my tape on this line, and I'm going to go in by 1 inch, and I'll be forming the smaller circle inside the big circle. making this smaller circle, I'm just going to cut this out. So after cutting this out, I'm going to bring the second part of my brim. I'm going to place this on it. So I'm just going to trace this out again and cut. So after cutting this, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. I'm going to place right side facing right side. And I'll be sewing this round. So I've gone ahead to sew this together. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be making some little notches around this. Please be very careful with your stitches. Don't let your scissors get to your stitches.
NCM Afrik-Ann.
So after making my notches around my brim, I'm going to be notching this circle. So I'm going to be making my notches from this point to very close to this point. So just go ahead and notch like this. Please, your notches should not exceed this line. So after notching, I'll go ahead and turn this out. So be careful with it. This can be a little bit difficult because I'm using a very hard interface. So just take your time and turn out. So after turning out, I'm going to take this to my ironing table and I'm going to give this a very good press. So I've gone ahead to give this a very good press. You can see how beautiful it's looking already. So it's time to cover the crown of my fascinator. So I'm just going to keep this aside and work on the crown. I'm using my Ankara fabric to wrap my bishop cap. So before doing that, I'm just going to measure. I'm just going to measure my bishop cap from this end to the opposite end, and what I have is exactly 8.5 inches. So after measuring right like this, so I'm just going to bend my tape into two where I have my 8.5 inches. I just want to get half of 8.5 inches. So this is half of it. So what I have here is 4.25. So what I'm going to do, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my Ankara fabric. So this is the wrong side facing up. So I'm going to place my tape on my fabric and I'll be using 4.25 to cut out my circle. After marking this, I'm going to be marking about 1 inch around my circle. So this is going to be for the folding allowance. So I'll be using this extra to fold in my Ankara fabric. So after cutting this out, I'm just going to get my B6000 gum. I'm just going to apply some just at the center of my bishop cap. So after applying some gum at the top of my cap, I'm just going to get the center of my Ankara fabric and I'm going to place like this. So make sure it's centralized. So after gumming my Ankara fabric to my cap, I'll be applying my gum just like this around my cap. applying my gum, I'll be using my Ankara fabric to wrap my bishop cap like this. So I'm just going to start from this end and I'll go to the other opposite side. I'll come to this side and I'll go to the opposite side of it, and I'll be wrapping gradually. So as I'm gumming, I'm using my fingers to smoothen my Ankara on my bishop cap. So just take your time. Take your time on this so you can have a very beautiful and neat fascinator after working on your fascinator. So after wrapping, I'm making sure it's very smooth. So I'm just going to turn this to the inside. I'm going to trim this a little. So after trimming a little, I'll be applying my gum on the inside, just very close to the edge of my bishop cap. So just go ahead and apply your gum just the way I'm doing. So after applying my gum, I'll be folding in my Ankara fabric just like this. So please, as you are folding in, apply some pressure so you can have a very smooth finishing. So please take your time so you can have a very smooth finishing. So I'm done wrapping this. I'm done wrapping the bishop cap. So it's time to attach the crown to the brim. So remember these notches I made around this circle. I'm going to take them up and I'll be flipping them backwards. I'll be using my iron to iron them. I'll be flipping them backwards like this, and I'll be ironing them with my iron. So after ironing like this, I'm going to be closing this up with my gum. I'm just going to apply a little gum like this. I'm just going to close up. I'm trying to bring this together. So after gumming together, I'm just going to trim a little, just very little where I have some excesses. So after doing this and gumming this together, so next I'm going to do, so just go ahead and use your hand to arrange this, make it look like a crown. So I'm just going to arrange it this way so you can see the way it's looking like a crown. So the next thing I'll do, I'm going to get my wrapped bishop cap. I'm going to place it on the brim like this, making sure all these are inside. I'm just going to take all this part I notched inside, so by the time I turn this, it should be looking like this. So I'm going to be using my hot gum to attach my brim to my bishop cap. So see what I'm doing? I'm just going to apply a little like this and I will gum. video to this point, I believe you love what you are seeing and you are getting value from this video. Please, why not go ahead and give this video a like, and if you are yet to subscribe to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my beautiful fashion DIYs. So after gumming this properly, you can see how beautiful and neat it's looking, and you can see how firm my fascinator is looking. You can see how firm the crown is on the brim. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be sealing up this rough part. So I'm using my ribbon to seal this up. So I'm just going to apply my B6000 gum on my ribbon like this, and I'll be using it to seal up the rough parts. So after using my ribbon to seal the rough edges inside my fascinator cap, you can see how neat and beautiful it's looking. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'll be attaching my fascinator cap to my Alice band. So I'll be attaching it by the side of my Alice band. You can decide to attach yours on the center of your Alice band depending on your preference, but I always like my fascinator by the side of my band. So I'm just going to apply my hot gun by the side of my fascinator, just like this. And I'm going to place this inside like this on the center of my fascinator cap. So after attaching my Alice band to my fascinator cap, I'm just going to get a little piece of my fabric. I'll be applying my gum on it. And I'll be using it to cover this. So after fixing my Alice band, it's time to embellish the fascinator. So you can embellish this with any design of your choice, but I choose to keep this simple. So I'm just going to add this bow, which is optional. This is totally optional. So I use my Ankara fabric to make this bow. I'll be attaching this to my fascinator cap. So I'll be using my hand needle and thread to attach my bow to my fascinator cap. So after attaching my bow to my fascinator cap, this is what it looks like, and this is basically all for this fascinator hat. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think about this tutorial in the comment section, and if this video was helpful to you in any way, please do not forget to hit the like button. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye.